Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to solve some problems and explain their solutions for the chapter entitled Using Discounted Cash Flow Analysis to Make Investment Decisions. Well, this is the first week of the course Financial Management 2. So let's take a look at the learning objectives for this chapter. Well, this chapter is from Fundamentals of Corporate Finance, 6th edition, written by Brilley Myers and Marcus. So we have 4 learning objectives. Let's see. To identify the cash flows properly attributable to a proposed new project, we are going to see. Calculate the cash flows of a project from standard financial statements. Well, mainly income statement here. Understand how the company's tax bill is affected by depreciation and how this affects project value. And the last one, understand how changes in working capital affect project cash flows. So let's get started. Our first problem is about cash flows. So let's first take a look at the problem. A new project will generate a sales of 74 million, cost of 42 million, and depreciation expense of 10 million in the coming year. The firm's tax rate is 35%. Calculate cash flow for the year by using all three methods. All three methods discussed in the chapter. I wrote here for you and confirm that they are equal. So from this problem, a couple of remarks need to be remembered. Well, by all three methods here, the methods that we use to calculate cash flows here, method 1, dollars in minus dollars out, method 2, adjusted accounting profit, and method 3, add back depreciation tax shield. So, and again, we have another remark here, a very simplified income statement. We should remember this all the time in this problem set. So let's start with income statement here. So let me prepare for you the income statement. So revenue, in this case, revenue is 74 million. Well, cost, I will simplify by the term cost here, 42 million dollar. Do I have any other cost? Yes, I do have, which is depreciation. Do not forget that depreciation expense is not cash outflow. It is just an item you show in income statement as an expense in order to benefit from interest tax shield or benefit from having debt in your capital structure. So I will write here depreciation, which is 10 million, and result of this is negative, this is negative, and this is positive, as you know. So result of this argument is EBIT, earning before interest and tax, or profit before tax. So the result of this will be $22 million, and less taxes. Well, tax rate is 35%, So you need to calculate 35% of 22 million, which is equal to 7.7 million. But this comes from 35% of 22 million. So result of this will give you net income or profit. So here we have 14.3 million. Now the question is asking you calculate cash flow. So I haven't done yet here. I need to add depreciation back to net income. It is because depreciation is not an expense that requires cash outflow. So add 10 million here. So I'm going to calculate 24.3 million. So in fact, this is one of these methods, but let's do it one by one, each of these methods. So let's start with the first equation. It says operating cash flow is equals to revenue minus cash expenses minus taxes. Well, cash expenses means the expense that requires cash outflow. So in this sense, we should exclude depreciation from revenue. So let's first take this, each of this equation or remarks here. On this slide to see better. So now we can calculate each of this and see the result. The result of this equation should be the same. So let's start with the first one. Well, revenue, remember 74 million minus cash expenses. The only cash expense in this problem given is 42 million. Minus taxes, 7.7 million, remember, here. So the result of this will be equal to 24.3 million. So this is the first one. The second one, operating cash flow. Well, here after tax profit, if you take a look here, after tax profit is this. After tax profit is net income. So you need to write here 14.3, and remember depreciation was 10, and result will be 24.3 million, which is the same. The last one. Now revenue minus cash expenses. Again, these cash expenses does not include depreciation. So revenue was 74 million minus 42 million times 1 minus tax rate, which is 35%, plus depreciation times tax rate. So the result of this will be equal to 24.3 million. Okay, so as you see, each of these methods give the same result for this problem. So in this slide, you can also see in a formal way or in a better way of writing. So let me move on to the second problem. So in this problem, what we have? Canyon Tours showed the following components of working capital last year. Well, we have accounts receivable, we have inventory, we have accounts payable, and we have beginning and ending result. of these items. So A, what was the change in net working capital during the year? So the term here need to be remembered is the net working capital. So this is the difference between current asset and current liabilities. So what is asked here? It asks you change in net working capital. This should be equal to. Now, first of all, if you should remember that if this is the balance sheet, and this here we have current asset, and we might have here current liabilities, while non-current liabilities and equity, these are the sources of the capital for this company. And here you might have non-current asset or fixed asset. So net working capital is simply difference between current asset and current liabilities. So in this case, change in net working capital here. Now you need to look at what was given, and account receivable is a part of current asset. Inventory is a part of current asset. We need to know this. Account payable is part of current liabilities. So change, in order to calculate the change in these figures, well, first of all, you need to find change in current asset minus change in current liabilities. So change in current asset, you have two items here. So you need to open this as follow. Change in account receivable plus change, delta means change in inventory minus, coming from this, change in account payable. So result of this will be a change in account receivable is start from 24 million and end to 23 million. So the change is minus 1000. Now plus or minus, it's plus because inventory will be positive, so the difference between beginning and ending result is 500, minus here, as you see, your account payable increased by 2000, so I need to write here minus 2000, so the result will be minus 2500, and this is A. B, now if sales were 36,000 and costs were $24,000, what was cash flow for the year? Ignore taxes. So if there's no taxes, what is sold is $36,000, and I should deduct the cost, $24,000. So the difference between these two will be $12,000. But I also know that change in working capital decreased by 2,500, which means from the cash I generated, I spent 2,500 for working capital. So I need to add change in net working capital to here. So in this sense, since this is negative, which means I need I spent additional $2,500 dollar here. So that's why I add this back. So the result will be 14,500. Okay. So another problem. You can also see the result in a better way of writing. So here we have another problem. Let's take a look. Quick Computing currently sells 10 million computer chips each year at a price of $20 per chip. So 10 million computer, $20 per chip. It is about to introduce a new chip and it forecasts annual sales of 12 million of these improved chips at a price of $25 each. However, demand for the old chip will decrease and sales of the old chip are expected to fall to 3 million per year. The old chip cost $6 each to manufacture and new ones will cost $8 each. What is the proper cash flow to use to evaluate the present value of the introduction of the new chip? So let's think about a new chip. How many new chip we plan to sell? It is 12 million. So let's write gross sales of new chip will be 12 million times $20, which is equal to, sorry, not 20, it should be, as it is written here, it should be 25. So which is equal to $300 million. Well, what is the cost of this new chip? Cost of new chip will be, for 20 million, I'm going to have $8 cost per new chip. So this is going to be equal to 96 million. So that means for the new chip, I will generate gross profit which is equal to difference between 300 and 96 million. So it hasn't done yet. I also need to calculate lost sales of old chip as it is given here. So lost sales of old chip. This will be a decrease in my gross sale, gross cash flow. So let's see. According to problem, I know that from 10 million sales, I'm going to have 3 million due to the fact that I'm going to introduce a new chip. So which means I'm going to lose 7 million old chip. Well, 7 million old chip would generate by $20 per old chip here. As you see, this price of old chip. So which means I'm going to lose $140 million due to the new introduction. So what about costs of old chip for 7 million? So remember the cost of old chip was $6 per chip and this is equals to $42 million. So I need to, in order to calculate the proper cash flow, I need to calculate this difference. So this is increase in cash flow will be equal to difference between 300 minus 96 million minus what I lost here, 140 million minus 42 million. So the result of this will be equal to 106 million, and this is going to be an increase in cash flow due to this new chip introduction. Let's move on, and you can also check this. Another problem here. Well, let's see. There's a problem about how to calculate net income. The owner of a bicycle repair shop forecasts revenues of $160,000 a year. Variable costs will be $50,000 and rental costs for the shop are $30,000 a year. Depreciation on the repair tools will be $10,000. Prepare an income statement for the shop based on this estimate. Tax rate is 35%. So let's start. Revenue will be equal to 160,000. Your variable cost will be 50,000. Rental cost, which is a fixed cost, 30,000. And your depreciation will be 10,000. So result of this equal to earning before interest and tax, and the result of this will be 70,000. And now last taxes. 35% of 70,000 equal to 24,500. 35% of 70,000, and this is going to be net income, which is equals to 45,500. Okay, it's done. Let's move on to the next one, and this is the proper way. Another question about calculating net cash flow. A house painting business and had revenues of $16,000 and expense of $9,000. There were no depreciation expense. However, the business reported the following changes in working capital. So calculate cash flow for the business for this period. Well, first calculate revenue minus expenses. Which is equals to 16,000 minus 9,000, and this equals to 7,000. Now calculate change in net working capital. Remember, change in current asset minus change in current liabilities. So in this sense, we can show that change in current asset, well, account receivable is part of current asset and accounts payable is part of current liabilities. So change in current asset, which means change in these two, well, 4,500 minus 1,200 minus 300 minus 700, and this is equals to positive 3,700. So in this figure, in this result, we can say that we are going to have 3,700 additional cash flow. So in order to calculate net cash flow, remember the equation revenue minus expenses plus change in net working capital. So I calculate this from here, 7,000. Now here, change in net working capital, although it is positive from this equation, okay, I should interpret this additional cash needed to be raised. So I should deduct this 3,700. Due to this is equals to 3,300. Let's take a closer look at this argument here. What happens here? Your account receivable is increased from 1,200 to 4,500, which means you made sale but haven't received your cash. Okay, in case of account payable, although you have a reverse situation, you start with 700 beginning figure, you end by 300 account payable, which means you received additional 400 cash, but in sum you have 3,700 cash, which is still in the process, you haven't received it. So for this one, that means you allocate 3,700 cash in your working capital. That's why I deduct this. Okay, another one here, the former writing. So we have operating cash flows problem. Laurel Lawn Care Limited has a new mower line that can generate revenues of $120,000 per year. Direct production costs are $40,000 and the fixed cost of maintaining the lawn mower factory are $15,000 a year. The factory originally cost $1 million and is being depreciated for tax purposes over 25 years using straight line depreciation. Calculate operating cash flow of the project if the firm's tax bracket is 35%. So let's calculate. So your revenue is 120,000. Your variable cost will be 40,000. Your fixed cost will be 15,000. your depreciation. Now, how to calculate depreciation? Remember, investment you made divided by number of years you want to depreciate it. So in this case, 1 million you spent here, 1 million, and you depreciate it for 25 years. This equals to 40,000 per year. So here 40,000. So result of this will be equal to earning before interest and tax, and this is 25,000 less taxes, 35% of sorry, this is 20, sorry, this is 25,000. Now 25,000, 35% of 25,000 is equals to 7,000, 8,750. Well, this is 35% of 25,000, and this is your net income, which is equals to 16,250. In order to calculate cash flow, operating cash flow, you need to add depreciation back here, which is 40,000. One more time, why we add depreciation back to this in order to calculate operating cash flow is that depreciation is not cash outflow. It's not an expense that requires cash outflow. So the result of this will be 56,250. Okay. Another problem you can check from here. But here our last problem, project evaluation. So let's take a look. Revenue generated by a new fat product are forecast as follows. For the first 4 years, we have 40,000, 30,000, 20,000, 10,000 revenue. And thereafter, we have no revenue. Expenses are expected to be 40% of revenues, and working capital required to each year is expected to be 20% of revenues in the following year. The product requires an immediate investment of 45,000 in plant and equipment. A. What is the initial investment in the product? Remember working capital. Ladies and gentlemen, well, initial investment here, as it is right here, initial investment this is 45,000. This is an immediate amount, but you need to add working capital here. Why? It is because this is the capital that you need to run your business. So how much of this? What is the working capital here? It says 20% of revenue. Well, 20% of the revenue for the following year is 20% of 40,000. So 20% of 40,000 is equals to 8,000. So the result of A is 45,000 immediate investment plus 8,000 net working capital that you need. which is equals to 53,000. This is A. B, if the plant and equipment are depreciated over 4 years to a salvage value of 0 using straight line depreciation, and the tax rate is 40%, what are the project cash flows in each year? Okay. Let's take a look. So let's calculate here. So year 1, year 2, year 3, and year 4. So your revenue for year 1 here is written 40,000, 30,000, 20,000, and 10,000. Your expenses are expected to be 40% of revenue, which means 40% of this will be 16,000. 40% of 40,000 is 16,000. 40% of 30,000 is 12,000. 40% of 20,000 is 8,000. 40% of 10,000 is 4,000. What else? What about working capital? Now, remember working capital that we calculate here is 8,000, and this was calculated as this 20% of the incoming year revenue. So which means for this figure, for this one and this one, I need to calculate 20% of 30,000, which is equals to 6,000, and 20% of 20,000 is equals to 4,000, and 20% of 10,000 will be 2,000. So there will be no working capital for the last year. So what else? Depreciation. We need to write here depreciation. So what is depreciation for this? Well, how much we invested at the beginning. Initially investment was 45,000. So in the problem here they say 4 years to salvage value. So I need to divide this by 4, which is equals to 11.25. So here 11,250. And the result will be here. Let's calculate the cash flow for each year. I need to calculate cash flow. So this cash flow I will calculate here for you. You can also calculate from this figure. You need to you need to also consider income statement. From this table you cannot see this, so let's use here one of our method of calculating operating cash flow. Now remember, one of these was revenue minus expenses. These are cash expenses times 1 minus tax rate plus depreciation times tax rate. So let's calculate your revenues here. If you let's plug the figure here together. 40,000 expenses 16,000 times 1 minus 35 or 40, sorry, let me just check it. 40% tax rate, right? 40%, sorry. So this should be 40%. Plus depreciation times 0.40. So result of this here, 24,000 times 0.60 plus, this is, again I make a mistake here. Let me just correct this one. Your depreciation was 11,250 times this 40%. So let me calculate for you. Just a second. 24,000 times 0.6. This is equals to 14,400 plus 11,250 times 0.4, 4,500. So the result of this will be equal to 18,900. Okay. So what about for the other years? So this is for year 1. Of course, I'm not going to write in this way. So I write in this form T1. Your cash flow is this. And for the other years, if you calculate it, you will find, sorry, is there something wrong here? Let me check this figure again. Yeah, I make a mistake over here. Just a second, I'm trying to find my mistake. Just a second. What kind of mistakes I have? Yes. I didn't deduct, or just a second, 40,000 expenses here. Okay, just a second. I figured it out here. Now this is correct, 18,900, but we need to consider the impact of decrease in net working capital from previous year. Decrease in net working capital from previous year. So how to understand? This is T0, T1, T2, T3, and T4. Remember, working capital was 8 million at T0, 6 million at T1, 4 million at T2, 2 million at T3, and 0 at T4. So decrease here means you are going to have additional 2 million. So per year you need to add 2 million at each year to your operating cash flow. So in this sense, this will be 2 by 2 million. Let me check the figures here, or 2000, the same. Here we have 2000. So the result of operating cash flow will be 20,900 for T1, 20,900. So for T2, if you apply this equation in this logic, you will find 17,300 for the third year. You will calculate, or for the fourth year, let me write all of them at once. 13,700, and for the last year 10,100. So ladies and gentlemen, what is asked? This is okay for part B. This is part B. Now let's come here and see what is asked in part C. If the opportunity cost of capital is 12%, what's net present value for this project? Let's calculate. Now we have cash flows, and I'm ready to calculate net present value. Net present value was equals to, remember, your all discounted investment plus you need to calculate your all discounted cash flow. So in this case you have 45,000 immediate investment plus 8,000 working capital, and for your operating cash flow are this. So 20,900 should be discounted by a factor of a rate of 12% here to 1 plus, again for the second year operating cash flow 17,300 should be discounted by 0.1222, and third year cash flow is this 13.7, and the last one for last year cash flow is 10,100. So I will discount this. And the result of this, ladies and gentlemen, should equal to minus 4,377.71. Okay. All right. So which means this project is not promising one. Net present value is negative, so it doesn't create additional value for this company. So we should reject this automatic result of this equation. Reject the project. Let's take a look at the last part. What is project internal rate of return? Okay. So internal rate of return internal rate of return you have two methods for calculating this, two approaches in fact. You may either use Excel to calculate or manually to use trial and error method. If you use Excel, you will find the exact solution for finding internal rate of return. So what is internal rate of return? By definition, internal rate of return is a rate that makes net present value 0. So this is our equation. If we solve this equation here, let me move on another slide for you. Okay. Now let me bring this equation to here and try to explain how to solve it. Now net present value is 0 in case now initial investment plus your all discounted cash flow, now 1 plus internal rate of return to T. So we need to solve this equation. So the first thing, let me open this for this, adjust this equation to this problem. So this is again 0 equals to minus 53,000 plus 20,900, 1 plus internal rate of return to 1 plus 17,900 again to 1 2 cash flow for the third year. Let's see, 13,700. 1 plus internal rate of return to 3, and for the last year it's 10,100 to 1 plus internal rate of return to 4. So you need to solve this equation. Of course, it is not possible to solve it by using algebra, but we will use trial and error and interpolation method. So the first thing is this. Now, net present value and internal rate of return combination. If you find internal rate of return, the result of this equation will be equal to 0. Now, from our previous exercise, we know that in case of 12%, if discount rate is 12%, the result will be minus 4,377. So the only thing you need to do is, in case of trial and error method, you need to find a rate that have positive net present value. Now, such as, I don't know, such as 5%. Now you need to plug 5% here and see, write the result here. Now, by assumption, I assume that if you plugged 5% here, you will find 1000. This is not the exact result of, in case of using 5% discount rate. By assumption, let's assume that we have 1000. So this is the trial and error part. The next part is the interpolation method. So let me show you. Now from 12% to internal rate of return, the difference between 12% minus internal rate of return will be equal to difference between, will not be equal to, it will be proportion to 12% minus 5%. This should be equal to this distance minus 4,377 minus 0, and distance between these two figures minus 1000. So cross multiplication, the only unknown in this exercise is internal rate of return. So if you remain internal rate of alone, you will solve this equation. Do not forget, if you find internal rate of return by this method, trial and error plus interpolation, you will find internal rate of return with an error. Well, if you use Excel, you will find the exact result. So why we have an error by using this method? Well, simply speaking, trial and error and the interpolation method built on linearity. This is this is a linear combination of the proportion here, as you see, which means these distances are proportional. Well, this is Thales theorem in geometry. That's why, well, another reason is this. Your equation here is quadratic. That's why trial and error and interpolation will not give you the exact solution. Okay? But you will find a very close rate if you use this method as well. Well, what is the result? What is the result? here, let me write here the internal rate of return if you use Excel. If you use Excel, will be 7.5%. Okay, you can check this out. Check it out. Okay. So, and this is, you can also check this solution with mine here. So we come to end of this video tutorial. I hope you will benefit from these explanations. Thanks for watching.